Right. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in a minute. This is Qigong for Beginners.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Leonard, do you want to ask a question, or you look like you did?
All right, Alan, you're host now. Y'all can go ahead. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. All right. So my name is Ellen Shapiro. Welcome to our class today. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I'm coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've been teaching on Get Set Up now basically this year. And I've been teaching Qigong for 7 years. I love Qigong. I love sharing it with people. And I'm here to introduce or reintroduce it to you. And I have a sneeze coming on, but I think it's, I don't know what's going to happen with that. So just there's some notes in the chat here. First of all, we are being recorded, just so you're aware. We're also on the live stream where people can watch the class through the Get Set Up channel. And just know that, you know, you should have me on speaker view where I'm large and you're in a small box. If you see me in a little box, you need to change a setting on your end, which is your view. So we have our teaching assistant here, Michael. He's here to assist with Zoom and technical issues. Also, you can, generally the way I teach this class, we'll have a little conversation today just to get to know a little bit more about you. And then mostly there's a short slide, just a little basic background on Qigong. Then we do some movement. And then I do my best to leave time at the end for questions. But if a question arises during the class and you don't feel like writing it down or you don't know if you'll remember it, type it into the chat and I can address it at the end. All right. Good, good. This lighting is a little strange, but as long as you can see me. All right. So I just want to invite you. The class my classes have tended to be pretty big in size, but I want to make it feel a little more personal. So I'm going to invite you to just share your experience with Qigong in the past, if you've ever done it, never done it, and what makes you want to do it now. And no requirements, you don't have to share, but just you're invited to. So remember to unmute yourself to speak. And also if you have any concerns about your, some physical condition and you want to ask about it in the beginning, you're welcome to do that.
I have done Qigong before, not to any real great extent. I've been following it on another program with Senior Planet. And so I have some feeling about it. My main reason for doing it is because of balance. My balance is not the best, and I want to try and improve it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Leonard. Yeah. So, and this is for you and for everyone in the class. You do have the option of practicing in a chair. The chair won't really help you balance, though. So if that's what you want to work on, you do want to practice standing. And we can also use a chair for support, which is nice, especially if we don't feel super confident in our balance. So I'll show you that when we get there. Someone else seemed to be ready to speak. Was that Gerda, or anyone else want to share a little bit about your background with Qigong or ask a question? Yeah. Go ahead. You are unmuted, Gerda.
Oh, okay. This is my second class with you. I really enjoy it. I have arthritis in my shoulder, so that really seems to help a lot.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes. And for anyone that has arthritis or any kind of movement restriction, do it at your level. So that means maybe a little bit less than you think you can do, because we don't want to irritate the body or create additional pain or stress, certainly, but also because I talk about this usually later on in the slides, but if we're doing anything, not just Qigong, where there's a possibility of strain or injury, there's a reflex in the body that's going to kind of tense up a little bit. And we don't want to create that. So, yeah. And I will say that probably several times. Follow my movements, but adapt them for your body. This is not no pain, no gain. This is not the philosophy here. Okay. So, and welcome back to class. Bob, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I've taken a couple of your classes now and find them to be very relaxing. I've also started taking the Tai Chi classes, and I have requested and have received copies of the recording. But those recordings are all done in gallery view, which doesn't help at all to see what the instructor's movements are. Do you know if your classes are going to be recorded indeed in speaker view, so that we can see in more detail, which, the instruction?
I'm on speaker view, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't record that way. And I've seen occasional, I watched some of the videos and they all seem to be fine in that way, but that is something I would definitely send a message to help it get set up for the instructor, or, just to let them know, because you're right. How would you be in a tiny little box? It'd be very hollow. So.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times, but it doesn't seem, at least in those classes, seem to make any changes. It's still being done in gallery. So maybe it's the technical support that you're getting, or whoever does the recording, make sure that they have.
Well, the recording is done at the time of the class. So what I would say to you is just, if there's an opportunity, speak up in the beginning of the class, or put it in the chat and just say, I've asked for this. Could someone please address this? And I'm sure they will. But yeah.
The other thing I want to say is that I've seen with Zoom how round-shouldered I am. I keep trying to move my shoulders back and sit taller. I believe that Qigong will help me with that.
Yeah. That's something for everybody, is like when you're practicing, you can, I don't want you to get obsessed about your form, but you can look at what you look like on the video, and it gives you feedback. Like, it's helping me too, because I tend to be a little round shouldered, and I tend to kind of do the thing that I tell you not to do.
Yes.
So I have to keep, so this is the thing for everybody, is you'll start to become more aware of different habits of movement and posture. And the video will actually help you. Don't judge it. Just say, okay, note to self, because these are habits, these especially postural habits, and they just are going to take some retraining. There are some movements I'll show us something that's very helpful, I think, for that round shouldered thing. So yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Sure. Okay, maybe just one more question or something from anyone, if there are any. Question or comment about your experience with Qigong? No? Okay. Just nothing in the chat. All right. One new message here. Okay. So just some information from Michael. Again, we were just talking about the recording. So if you're fairly new to get set up, or you can request the recording of the class afterwards and practice along with it. So it's really great, because it's like, you come to the class, and then especially if there's a class that was really clicked for you, get the recording and practice along with it. You don't get that automatically. It's not set up that way. You do have to request it, but it's simple. And the information is, the phone number and the email address are right there for any kind of help, but especially for requesting the recording. All right, let's go into our slides and screen share. It always does this. It just closes the thing that I had open. Okay, here we go. Let's go back. All right. Share screen. Okay, here we go. Put it in meditation mode. Okay. Qigong for beginners. Come on. Present. All right, just a little bit more about me. So I'm a native New Yorker, but I've been living in Santa Fe, New Mexico for the last 12 years. And I've made some pretty big life changes. I left my career in accounting where I sat at a desk all day and was not very happy as a person who loves to move and use her body. Wait, what happened to everybody? Okay, let me just change the view back. There we go. Oh, that's better. I just suddenly couldn't see anyone. So I left the accounting career to become an energy healer, which I still do, and now teaching Qigong and Ageless Grace. And I'm also a practitioner of tapping or EFT, and I work with people on better health, mostly with women, but also with some men. And I just love to teach. I am the daughter of 2 teachers who swore she would never be a teacher, and here I am. But they were always complaining about the school system, and I never wanted to do that, although I did end up teaching in college once. But yeah, I just love sharing from my wisdom and empowering you to feel healthier, more energized, more alive, and just free to move, free to be who you are. I will admit Myrna because I know her. Okay, come on. What's going on here? I'm screen sharing. I know that I'm screen sharing, and I'm trying to get to the next slide. Wow. All right. The slides are frozen. Here they go. Okay. So Get Set Up is this really, I think, incredible platform where you can learn useful and practical skills and socialize with other older people to empower you to do wonderful things, be healthier, be happier, all of that good stuff. And if anyone is watching on the live stream, I invite you to sign up for the class, register for it. You get the notes that way, you can get the recording. And energetically, part of what I do, which I haven't really talked about, and most good, Qigong or Tai Chi teachers will be doing this in a subtle way, is you get an energy transmission that comes from my practice and my intention to, to support you and offer healing. So you can't get that from the live stream, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess. And the last comment on that slide is just Get Set Up is not commercial, and we don't get paid to promote anything. If you ever get in a class where someone is acting like that, like strangely promoting something, there's a problem. It shouldn't be like that. And there have been some disruptions in some classes, which is why you've probably seen there's a little more security about people getting into the classes. And that's just done to avoid these disruptions. Also, we're way past that time, and maybe you're aware of this, maybe you're not, is that when you enter the Zoom classroom after 5 minutes past the start time. So in this case, 9:05, 11:05, whatever it was in your time zone, you are held in the waiting room until somebody either recognizes you, or you may end up, like once I start teaching, like, and I stand up, I'm not watching that, so I can't really admit you. And this is part of our additional security. So just try and come to class on time or within the first 5 minutes. It's a good idea anyway, just a good discipline. Okay, so here's what we cover: what Qigong is, where it comes from, why practice it, who can do Qigong, basic principles of Qigong, and the intention is for you to have simple Qigong that you can try at home and introduce you to it if you're brand new. So Qigong is movement as medicine. It's an ancient healing art from China. It's thousands of years old. And it is one of the pillars, meaning it's part of Chinese medicine. It's not optional. It's not like the icing on the cake. It's part of Chinese medicine. It's that effective. So the word Qigong is a combination of Qi, which refers to the vital energy or our life force energy, that which animates every function of the body, including our mind and emotions, everything else we do. And the word Gong, which is cultivating or the work of the Qi. Lately, I've been calling it the art of cultivating the Qi. So I kind of like art better than work, but it's the same thing. So is Qigong for you? And the answer is, if you can move, you can do Qigong and you can practice standing. That is the typical way, but you can also do it in a chair. Qigong is low impact, it's gentle, and it offers benefits for your health, more energy, stronger immunity, and more peace of mind. Qigong helps you recover after illness and injury. And can help you meet the ups and downs of life with more ease and flow. And personally, that was my story. I mean, I had heard of Qigong, but hadn't really done it. And I hurt myself in the gym doing something silly, was not age appropriate, let's put it that way. And I landed poorly on my knee and thought, ooh, this is not good. And I was in acute pain for a while. When I started to move out of the acute phase and like, what could I do to help myself? I did some other strengthening exercises, but then someone told me about this beautiful Qigong teacher here in Santa Fe, and I went to his class and just, what happened to you, Gerda? Okay, move back in. So that was my story, and I got, not only did it help my knees, it helped in so many other ways. So I just kept practicing and eventually became a teacher. I did not start out at all intending to teach this. The typical thing that people say, everyone, like they say about investing, same thing with Qigong, results can vary, but generally people say they feel calmer, more relaxed, and also have more energy. The basic principles that we work with in Qigong are, because Qigong is Chinese medicine, it's the same thing. It's just a form of Chinese medicine that uses movement. So the goal, the overall goal, is to get the qi flowing and also build it up in your body. And the idea is that when the qi or when the energy is flowing freely through the pathways and through your breath, you're going to have more health. And you're going to have the ability to recover from illness and injury, much more so than when your qi is stagnant, stuck, or just not circulating. Another principle is grounding, and you'll hear me talk about that. Moving from your roots, feeling your feet connected to the floor. For a number of reasons. One is it just helps you be in your body, because Western culture, we often live very much in our head. And so we're not that aware of like what is going on with my body. Maybe I've been gripping my belly muscles for an hour, and suddenly you drop into your body and it's like, whoa, okay, let me pay attention. It's also important to be grounded in terms of just your physical balance and more of your, energetic balance, meaning you're centered, you're present, you're standing, like we have that expression, standing on your own 2 feet, right? You're really here. If you're not, then life is going to just kind of knock you around a lot more. So Qigong is great for that. And as I mentioned earlier, talking to Bob about moving with awareness. So Qigong will develop your sensitivity to what you're actually feeling and how you're moving. And that's good. This is all, mindfulness is a buzzword, right? But it's really about bringing the mind present in the body. And finally, practicing in a relaxed way, which I talked about earlier. So the 80% rule means going to 80% of your capacity or your extension when you're extending an arm out, for example. Right. Okay, and this varies every time, so I won't really go into that right now. Stop the share. We're going to get moving. All right. Good. switch my camera and let's come up to standing. Okay. So let's see, did I switch? Sure I did. I think I did. Yeah, I'm a Logitech. Okay. So I use two cameras so that you can see, first I can be close up and you can also see the whole body. Let's see, can you see my feet? Not quite. Okay. Back a little more. Let's see if that does it. Ah, I'm blocking myself with my laptop. That's what the problem was. Okay. Here we go. So let's start with a simple bow, just like imagining that we're in a literal classroom. We're entering the space together, even though we have really been in it for a while. Okay. So entering the classroom, we just offer a simple bow and our head comes down lower, just to say I'm entering a special sacred time. And just a reminder, if at all possible, have, phones or other possible distractions turned off, letting people know I'm doing my Qigong. Please don't interrupt me unless you have to. Okay. And this is an interesting teaching that I got from my teacher, is that part of the reason to eliminate distractions is, of course, you're more present, but also we can lose. We're all about building, cultivating this chi, this energy, and distractions actually we can leak a little bit of chi from that. So when our chi is strong, we're focused, we're more present, our energy is here. When we're distracted, our energy is kind of like here, there, and everywhere. So, okay, let's do some warm-ups, and let's start with a simple one. And again, just as I mentioned about the balance. So you can use the chair. Can you see it? It looks very dark to me. Okay. It's just the lighting in here, I think. Okay, that's better. Okay, now you can really just see. So I just got the chair here, and I'm going to root down, meaning I'm going to press my right foot. And I know there was a question about mirror and all that. Do the opposite side, but also I'm going to tell you in words which side I'm on. So I'm going to root down into my right foot. I just feel it touching the floor and really, making contact. I can hold on here for balance. And now I'm going to lift my left foot and I'm just going to start turning. You know what? I think I need to be a little bit more in the center here. Okay, so I'm just lifting my left heel off and circling around. So press into the ball of the left foot. That's for grounding, and go the other way. And so with this movement, I really like this because it warms up the feet, the ankles, the knees, even the inside of the thighs with this one movement. All right, let that go. And now switch, if you're using a chair for balance, and that's optional, but I just wanted to show it. Now I'm going to root down into my left foot and lift the right heel and just pressing into the ball of the right foot one way and then the other. Good. I'm going to take this away for now, but you use it as you need to. Now, let's just rock slightly back and forth, like on the ball of our foot and back onto the heel, just again for more grounding, and you can spread your toes. And again, we're bringing our awareness and our energy down into the feet and the lower body, again for grounding. So just rocking slightly back and forth. Your toes might come up. Keep a slight bend in your knees. All right, good. So now we've got our grounding. Let's stand. So the typical stance is about hip width apart, which is maybe like that. So this is kind of a full top, but here's my hips, so just straight down. And sometimes people do this for hip width, and your hips are, even wide-hipped women are not, they're not out here, right? So, all right. And the other thing which I will remind you, I keep reminding myself, is that when you bend the knees and you come down, we don't go down super deep, but when you bend the knees, make sure the knees are going over your feet, like straight over, and they're not buckling in like that. That's not good. So I was, like I said, when I was practicing Qigong after knee injury, and I didn't realize that I was doing that, and got better at first, and then it started getting worse as I was practicing more often. And I went to a chiropractor who explained to me that that can happen. So the way to do it is you can just think of your muscles, like the top of your thigh muscles, kind of just opening out like that. Okay, let's play with posture and alignment here. So just bring your shoulders up towards your chin, roll them back and down. See if you can imagine the shoulder blades dropping down the back. Let's do another one. Take an inhale. Yeah, good. And that round shoulderedness can be a habit, but it also can come from when we're sitting, if we're reading, if we are, looking at a computer screen, we'll just have that tendency to kind of go forward like that. So we can retrain ourselves with simple exercises like that. So now just see, sometimes it's hard to tell for ourselves, but see if you can feel like, am I leaning a little forward, a little back, or do I feel like pretty aligned right in the middle? And people develop different habits. Sometimes people are like a little more like that. Sometimes they're just habitually like that, but we want to be balanced on our feet and right in alignment. And here's an exercise which you may have seen because it's often done in yoga that is really good for opening up those shoulders. So you just clasp your hands behind and you can roll the shoulders back, keep a little bend in the elbow, and now you can do a couple of things. You can just lift like that, come back, just lift. You can do little pulsing movements. And the other thing is to do more of the yoga mudra, which is just a yoga pose where you come forward, bending from the hips, and bring the arms behind you. If you're very tight there, I'm pretty tight myself, but if you're really tight, you may not even be able to lift. So that's okay, just do this. Go to where you can go without strain, and then release it, let it roll. So over time, any of these things where we're trying to open up an area of restriction, they're just going to need, repeated practice. So, okay, let's do a little bit more to open up our arms and shoulders. Let's just do some simple arm circles. And if you have arthritis in the shoulders or any kind of restriction, maybe you're just going to do it very, very small. I'm going to do it a little bigger because that's what I need. And let's go the other way. Whew. Maybe you can feel that. It already starts to open up the inside of the arms and the pecs and the breath, which is also good. And let's do a little bit more arm swinging. So this one, we're going to come up and my hands turn and come down. So the palms face the body on the up and then out on the down. And add the breath, inhaling up, exhale down. And again, if you can only come to here, do that. If you're not sure, go a little bit past and see how that feels. And if the body says, good, we like this, great. If the body says, please don't do that, listen. All right, good. We'll let that swing out. Okay, let's warm up this is our Dantian. This is the energy center, the lower energy center in the body in Chinese medicine. It's also what you may have heard people talk about moving from their core. That's really the low belly and the belly muscles. So we want to bring our awareness, and we can do that with touch. So bring your left hand below your belly button, right on top, circling around. So I'm coming up on the right, down on the left. And if you start getting like mixed up with right and left or following me, not to worry. There's really only one place where there's a few places, but today I think there'll only be one place where that is significant, and I'll make sure you get the right and left on that. Let's go a little faster. We're warming up the dantian. Let's do a little tapping just lightly. So this is the energy center or reservoir for the physical energy in the body. And from here, the chi moves up through the body, through the central channel of the body, up to the heart. This is called the middle dantian. And finally, let's just take our hands and do this. And now we're going to use our hands to bring the energy up to our third eye or Shen point. It's just right in the middle, just above your eyebrow level. Okay. And now let's bring it up to the crown, so top of the head, and we have an energy center here called the byway. It's an important point. It's also called your crown chakra. And let's just imagine we can open this energy up to take in the energy of the sun, the moon, the stars, the whole cosmos. Let's lift the energy up from the dantian up through the central channel. And this hand movement is like guiding the internal movement of energy. So you might not feel it at this point. It might seem like imagination. You circulate out, and actually this is taking me into, I think let's do this movement here. This is called showering chi. So bring your hands here, and they're off my body, but like I have a ball of energy here. I relax my shoulders, check your alignment, knees slightly bent. Okay, so join me with this, inhaling. And just below shoulder height, the hands turn. We exhale, another inhale overhead, and moving down. Front of the body, sloughing off anything that we don't need. I like to do one more of these, and this time we're gifting energy to the earth. So showering chi is like a shower for your energy field, and that is right around your body. And, like it, probably we would call it outside of the Chinese medicine context, sort of like your personal space, your boundaries. So when somebody really gets too close and it's uncomfortable, they're in your energy field. That's what we're talking about here. So it's around your body, and actually the field extends out to like the end of your fingertips, and it comes in an oval shape. So we're working energetically to clear any kind of negative, upset, toxins, anything else that's sort of held in the field here with this movement. So, all right, so inhale, knees over the feet, and I'm bending my knees, but I'm also slightly hinging here at the hip crease. Okay, so inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hands turn. Inhale, overhead, sweeping down through the body, through the field, clearing away stagnation, blockages. Then on the second one, we use the same gesture with a different intention, just offering our gratitude to the earth. Let's do one more. It's just feeling really good to me today. Inhaling, exhale, thumbs turn the hands. Overhead, another inhale. Clearing down through the field. Release. And Good. Let's see what else we need today. In terms of time. Okay. Okay, let's do one kidney form as a foundation, one or two. So what I'm teaching you in this class, just so you know, in the Qigong for Beginners class, I'm giving you, more explanation about Qigong, more of a context, and I'm also kind of deciding which Qigong forms individual movements to do in the class with you based on the season, the energy that I sense from the group, just whatever I'm getting intuitively. What I was getting today is to do some work around the wood element that corresponds to the season of spring, which we're in. We're getting close to summer now, and some places are going to feel more spring-like, and some places where you are more summery. But we're going to work with the wood element and some forms for that. But before we move into that, I want to just do a little support for the kidney energy, which you pretty much always want to do something in any Qigong practice for the kidneys, because, and here I'm talking about the kidney meridian, and it's like a whole energy system. It does include the organs, those little, bean-shaped organs in our back and our adrenals, but it's also a whole system in Chinese medicine. So we want to address the kidneys because they are the ones that are doing a lot of work to support the rest of the body, and they're so busy doing things for everybody else that sometimes they don't get their turn. And maybe that pattern sounds familiar because a lot of us live that way. So things that deplete the kidneys are just overwork, stress, things that jolt your adrenaline. So that could be like stimulants, like coffee, too much coffee, or anything like that. And just things like, too much news or things like that, or emotional stress, all of these things, and things that are scary. So the kidneys have to do in the emotional realm with fear. So we're going to let's do some support for the kidneys. And I've been really liking this one. So rub your hands together to get them warm. And let's just put them on the kidneys. Put them back there. So this is one simple way that we do self-healing in Qigong. You rub the hands together, generate some heat, and then put them on your body, in this case, the kidneys. Okay, now I'm going to show you a Qigong movement. I call it receiving Qi. So this is about filling ourselves up so that gives us more energy to do anything that we want to do. So I'll show you, let me show you how it starts from the back. So I'm going to take my hands, thumb and index finger meet. They make this little shape, this triangle shape right here. And I'm basically on my sacrum here, around my tailbone. If your arms are longer, your hands may be lower, and that's fine. And then I'm going to, with my back of my hands against my body, I come up, and now I move the hands towards the front. And I'll show you what that looks like from the other side, and then we'll do some together. Okay, so a little narrower here. Okay, so my hands are back in that triangle shape. They're coming up the low back, over the kidneys. Now I'm moving around what's called the belt meridian, and the hands come forward like that. And it does, I think in the camera, it sort of looks like I'm leaning forward, but I'm really not. But my arms are out and they're curved. And let's just stand here like that for a minute and just breathe and imagine some loving presence, the universe, your higher power, the power of nature, whatever you resonate with. Imagine that this source of light is coming and it's pouring in all this beautiful energy. And we have this bowl, we're just receiving. let's do a couple more of the movements now. So just coming back behind. Bring those hands forward. Just everything is in this curve. Let's do one more time. And let me show you from the side, because there's also pelvic movement here. So as I come down, bending my knees, hands are coming around, and see what happens. My hips are kind of tilting back. Okay, I'm just getting to keep going and do two more, so let's do that. The other thing that can stress the kidneys is getting cold. And, you know, it can be, we're coming out of winter and it can be cold here sometimes, maybe where you are. Okay, let that go. And actually a lot of older people in China wear things around their middles to keep their kidneys warm, like, you know, woolen things or, you know, some kind of thing for warmth. Okay, so last was a little support for the kidneys. They're not done with us yet. The kidneys are like, a little more, please. Don't rush through this. So kidneys don't like rushing either, by the way. So that's one of the reasons we do things slowly in Qigong. So let's do calm the waters. And this is something I will teach in the other class, the Qigong, Get Moving with Qigong. I teach more of a sequence of specific Qigong, like we call them sets of movements. So this one comes from the medical Qigong, and it's in a couple of forms. So it's really a nice, simple one. So bring your hands up to here. And now let the hands move out. And like they're coming across a flat surface. And gathering back in. So I sink down in my knees a little bit as the hands move out. I don't know why, it looks to me like the camera shows me leaning back. I don't think I am. So ignore that, please. All right, so hands come up slightly and calm the waters is the name of this. So, you know, our bodies are 70 to 80% water. So instead of being sort of shaken up, agitated, all of that, as though we could reach inside ourselves and just say, it's okay. Right here, right now, you are safe. I've got you, I'm here. So we come out to about here. Notice I don't completely straighten the arms and then coming back. And again, like we're coming across a flat surface and then we lift slightly. And letting our hands just smooth out the choppiness, the wrinkles on the forehead from worry. This is one that could be, if you were just thinking, what's one thing I could really practice from this class? This one would be a good one because it's pretty simple and it's quite powerful. So you're often like the end of the day or the end of the afternoon going into evening. These are especially good times right before bed or anytime, of course. Calm the waters. Let's do one more. Now bring your hands back to the dantian. Take a minute to pause, close your eyes, and just observe. How is your breath moving in your body? Have you built up any unconscious tension in the feet? You can shake it out, or the shoulders. So even in a short, relatively short time, our habits of this tension can start to build up. So not all teachers do this, but I'll fairly frequently have people just stop and notice and release. So then you develop the habit of just checking in with yourself now and then. Okay, let's let's see. Okay, all right, I'm going to show you. All right, this what I'm going to show you now. This one is a bridge really between the water or the kidney energy that we've just been practicing with and the next one. So these correspond to seasons too. So kidney is winter, and then we move into the next one, which is liver, and that is spring or the wood element. And it takes some courage to go from like being like in the winter, everything tends to hibernate, right? And go inside and go underground. And in a way, that's what we've been doing in our society in the last year, right? With the pandemic, like living in your cave, right? You know, hopefully, well, I don't want to get into it too much, but it's been a lot more stay at home, being more introverted for a lot of people. And so it's like we had a year of winter almost. And now we're at this place where everything is thawing out. People are starting to move out into the world and be more active again. So this is the turning point from winter to spring. And even though the calendar says we're a little later in spring, I think we're still in that place. So this form is perfect for that. This is called Shamanic Liver Fist. So it's a kidney form, and it's also like a beginning wood form. So just bring your hands here, soft fist, just gather your fingers together. Okay, knees are slightly bent. And now I'm going to do a little punch, but like a soft, it looks like a punch, but it's really like a soft movement, but like coming up like that, around to the front of the body. I turn the fist front, and now I return back to my starting place. Let's do the other side. And the feeling here, this is about breaking through fear or shyness. Not that shyness has its place too, but maybe we call it reticence, being hesitant to come out. Break on through, find your courage, find your warrior self. Coming back. So let's do a couple more of these. So the feeling is not fast like a real punch, but it's like an uppercut that you would do in boxing. Okay, and then we release it, bring it back. This time I'm working, this is my right, but again, don't get hung up in that, just alternate. Let's do one more and see if you can really just feel it. Maybe slow it down even. Here I am, I've broken through my fear and I'm standing tall. And now I'm just coming back to my place once more. Wow. Oh, really good. All right, releasing that. And let me show you, let's see, which one should we do? All right, let's do a little bit of a movement called swimming. Checking my time. Okay. We'll finish with this one. So it's not really like, swimming in the pool would probably look like that. It doesn't really quite look like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we come forward like that, and my pelvic and my belly area is moving back. I'll show you from the side. Okay, we're going to do a few of these just facing front. And you can breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And now this one, it does matter which side you're on. So make sure you're doing this towards your right side, because this is where your liver is. So if you were mirroring, it would be here, but on your right side, and inhaling, and the same movement we were doing, but slightly to the side. And we're breathing energy into the whole liver area with this. So this is one of the few forms that is not symmetrical. We're not going to do this on the left. So I move back like that as my hands come forward, and then as the hands come down, I move forward with this area slightly to the side. And you may start to feel some heat building. And we'll finish with 3 repetitions again to the front. So to me, this form feels like breathing up and activating the liver, which is why it's warming. Okay. Let's close. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to close with a stance here. So mostly I'm showing you movements. There's also stances where you're just standing still and you're kind of embodying a certain energy. So let us conclude the movement part here with, this is called horse stance, and there's a number of variations. This is a classical Qigong form. My teacher called this all world horse stance. So bend the knees, again, making sure they're coming over the feet. And the hands extend out sort of halfway. They're neither facing front nor to the side. They're like on a diagonal. And really just root down into your feet. Relax the shoulders. Feel the calm strength. Very grounded, very present. Ready to meet the world with action or receptivity. Either way, we're right in the middle here. We're ready. See if you're building up tension in the hands or the arms, and try and relax it a little bit. Let it go. Feeling your feet on the ground. So like my body's starting to go forward. I have to bring it back. Okay, let's close. Just bring to Dantian here. Bring your feet together. And we'll do a simple bow out of the movement practice here. So thank you very much for being here with me. And I'm going to come closer. And let's see. All right, so hold your questions for a minute. Well, actually, I can't really do that. So here, let me switch over. Okay, so there are a couple of things that get set up as asking the guides to do at the end of class. I do really want to answer your questions, and I'm a little bit like behind schedule-wise, so I might run over a minute or two, which is fine for me. You are very welcome, Sherry. So I'm just going to do some closing slides here. I'll try and go through them quickly and then take questions. Qigong for beginners, share. Okay, good. Right. So I would just invite you to think right now, as we just finished class, what did you learn today that was like, I really want to remember that, or that was just a good insight for you. And just remembering Qigong is a movement practice. It's not really book knowledge, although there's some great books about it. So how you get the benefits is not just watching or coming to class once a week, which is great, but practicing often and maybe just doing a little bit every day. And reinforcing that habit by just acknowledging yourself. So often we say, I should do this or that, and we do the thing that's on our to-do list, and we never stop to thank ourselves for doing it. So then we just have this endless list of things we're supposed to do. So thank you so much for being here. And let me move this. This is distracting me. So yeah, you're invited and welcome to share your experience. Here are some different ways you can contact, get set up. And Liz is one of the people that I believe is doing publicity and all of that. Related classes to this one, Tai Chi definitely, and mindful journaling for wellness. There's a lot of others that are related. My next classes are all listed here. I'm teaching today, I'm teaching quite a lot. So I have Ageless Grace is coming up in half an hour. That's a movement, creative movement, playful for the brain. That's done in a chair to music. Get Moving with Qigong is this afternoon. Once a week, I teach this self-touch, self-healing class on different points to use for your health. And women's Qigong is going to be starting next week. So plenty more. If you enjoy my teaching, there's plenty of other opportunities.
Can't hear you, Ellen.
So sorry, I must have hit the mute button. So can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty much just reading what's here. So if you were seeing the slides, but sorry. Yeah, so again, recommend to friends if you like this and let them know about Get Set Up too. Please do give feedback and you'll see the forms. They'll come up for you. Come on, stop that.
When is this class going to be offered again? Qigong for beginners.
The next time this is offered is next Monday. at
Okay.
5 p.m. Yeah.
At what time?
It's 5 p.m. Eastern, so
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for your interest. And Get Set Up is a whole community, so we have opportunities. If you want to participate in it more actively, you can host an interest group, suggest a new class, share this, because we are working with senior centers, state governments, again, always requesting the recording, and that's it. That's the end of the slideshow. Let me stop. Thank you for hanging in here with me, and I have time for a question or two or anything you want to share.
Can we sign up for the entire series, or do we have to do each one individually?
I think you can sign up for a week or two at a time. I don't know if you can do it beyond that, and they are working on a way to do that.
Right.
So I can't really answer for sure, but thanks for your interest, and yeah. Other questions? Anything else before we go?
No.
Good. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you for the link last time to YouTube Qigong class. That was
Good. Yeah. I'm going to put a few of mine up there too. It's on my list of things to do, but you'll all get these notes that have a suggested book, a video you can look at, just some other information to guide you. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and just pay attention to how you feel and see what your body's telling you. Like, that was good, or I did too much, or I could have done a little more. Whatever the body wants to tell us, just listen. All right. Take care, everyone. Be well.
Bye. Bye.